Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Chris. In today's episode, I'll be talking mostly, I suppose, or at least among other things, about the importance of sleep. Because I am not the best at getting the sleep I need. Sometimes, like in periods, I'm really good at it. I go to sleep at 9, I wake up at 5, and I just make it work. Other times, like the phase I'm in right now, I can't seem to regulate my sleep properly. So I end up sleeping either too much or too little. And it's not like I only sleep a couple of hours. No, I do get enough sleep still, I suppose. But for example, this time I've only slept for 7 hours. And while that's enough for me to function, I also know that I should sleep more. I get more work done if I've slept 8 hours, for example. And generally, I'm more comfortable throughout the day if I've slept for 8 hours. And so tonight, I'm going to have to go to sleep early for multiple reasons. The first one is that I'm tired. Well, I'm going to be more tired today than usual because I slept less than usual. And the second reason is that tomorrow I have to get up really early. We arranged some education from the fabrication laboratory, which basically means that we'll be taught how to do 3D printing, poster printing, cutting, all kinds of, basically it's print and physical stuff we'll be working with. Also be working with some wood and some glass, stuff like that. And that's going to take all day. It's from 8:15 to, 3 p.m. So it's a long course, but it's going to be worth it because then we'll have the capabilities to finish up the last prototype elements for our project, which is great. Now, the sleep part is important because I've got a lot of work to do today. We're working from home today. We usually meet up, but due to the fact that we've been we're very far ahead compared to the rest of the people that we work together with. And, not work together with, but we're technically working against some of them. Anyway, our classmates, the other groups, we're very far ahead compared to them. And that leaves us with very little to do because we don't have the fabrication laboratory courses yet. And so that's just what we're waiting for, basically. We're doing extra stuff right now because we have no idea what else to do. So it's a little difficult because it's too easy. But there is stuff to do still. For example, what I have to do today is I have to make a sea anemone in 3D. And I'm going to be using a program called Blender, which I used to do some work in, but it has been years since I touched it last. And so I'm going to have to refresh my memory, and doing so on a lack of sleep probably isn't going to work out as well as I had been hoping it would. And I've made big promises because I can do this, right? Well, technically I can, because I'm capable and I have done more than that before. Like I've created things in 3D that were much more complex than in a sea anemone. But it's still going to be difficult because I haven't touched the program in a few years now. And that means getting back into it in just a couple of days because I've got today and tomorrow, preferably, since we should be printing on Friday. We want all of this to be done by Easter, so we actually don't have a lot of time. And then you might wonder, why are we working from home then instead of showing up at school? Well, the reason is to save on transportation time, and because what we're doing now is very individual. We don't have a whole lot of working together stuff. We have one that's drawing, one that's doing personas and, creating fake people to pretend to interact with our products. We have one in the group that's literally just assigned her entire job today is to figure out a third idea, because that's the only element that we're behind on, is that we don't have a third idea. We need one more idea that we can just trash, but that we can still create a prototype of. And we still want it to be a good idea, because like our first trash idea is a mobile application for the center that would allow people to scan a QR code next to an animal and then read more information about it, watch a video, see pictures, those kinds of things. And that is in and of itself a really good idea. It's just not the idea that we are going with once we have to do the high fidelity prototype. That's another thing. They only want prototypes and then they want to go to someone else to get it built. I say no. We have an entire group of people here willing to do the work, capable of doing the work. Like, I can program the mobile application. It took me 35 minutes to set up a prototype of the app that allows us to scan QR codes and then get information on various animals. The only thing I really need to do is expand on that. And sure, if they were to think, like the center were to think, oh, we want an app, it's definitely going to have to be able to do a lot more than just that. It's going to have to be able to show possibly employee information, opening hours, prices. It needs to be linked to their website in a few ways. Like, they've got news on their website, they've got events, it needs to be hooked up with their existing systems. But strangely, I can do that too. I'm not, it's not foreign to me. I've done a lot of this stuff before. And aside from that, I actually also have a whole bunch of things that I need to do other than the project. But those are just stressing me out unnecessarily. So I'll be focusing on the project, and then hopefully during Easter, I'll be able to catch up on some of the other things. So yeah, that's our progress so far. We're actually doing really well. I do think the rest of the group, they're satisfied with our current designs. I'm not quite satisfied myself. Not with every design element, at least. I look at it and I see some contrast problems. For example, with the background and the text, there's not a large enough contrast. So I'll be modifying those if I get the time. But again, that's definitely not for now. The main focus today is the damn sea anemone. I love that word, anemone. It flows in a very weird way in the mouth. And I don't know. That's just a random thought. Just randomly popping up. Which actually reminds me, if anyone listens to this, why don't you put, what's your favorite word? Or just a word that you really like sea anemone. Well, actually it's just anemone. The sea can leave if it wants to. I also like, so I'm not gonna say it, because I know it in Danish, and I'm fairly certain that it's slightly different in English. Therefore, I won't make a fool of myself here, but I also quite enjoy the word for the phobia of long and or convoluted words. It's a really strange word. That was completely off topic. See, that's another thing, right? When I don't sleep, my ADHD acts up more than usual. I get more easily distracted. I get sidetracked. I don't, I'm just not as productive. I'm not as well functioning when I haven't gotten my sleep. And that's, in the end, my group is going to suffer as a result of me not getting enough sleep, because the quality of our work will be lower. And if the quality of our work is lower, then we all suffer. This is a group effort, so I need to put in extra work today to ensure that I don't drag us down, because I'm actually one of the... So, I study multimedia design, okay? Yeah. That has a lot of aspects to it, which is why what I'm about to say isn't actually measurable. It's very obvious who's good at which things. And I'm definitely one of the better ones in class. But I am one of the better ones when it comes to the technical stuff. When it comes to the actual creative stuff, I'm way behind a lot of my classmates. And I'm also not very good at doing design from the bottom. I'm really good at taking something in existence and making it better. I can redraw drawings. Like if you erase a part of the drawing, I can usually redraw it pretty well, as long as it's not too big spaces that needs redrawing. But like I can redraw details really well. I can make it fit in. I can do the work. I can restore things. I can improve things. I can fix things, but I cannot create things in the same way that a lot of my classmates can. So while I'm definitely one of the best students in class, I'm only the best student. Well, probably not the best, but I'm only one of the best in a certain area, which is just so incredible to me, really, because I'm used to these group projects, and I bet we all know those. These group projects where everybody makes big promises, and then one person ends up sitting with the entire thing. And guess who that person usually is? That's right, it's me. I'm usually the person who ends up sitting with all of the work, and I haven't always done it. So sometimes I've just punished myself and the group, but other times I've spent so long, so much time, so much effort doing the work of multiple people. Whereas in this group, the multi-part really shines. Some of us can do technical stuff. Some of us can do artsy stuff. Some of us just come up with really great ideas. And I think that's beautiful in its own way. We have one group member who's a little worried that her input isn't good enough. She doesn't feel like she's doing enough work in the group. And we've tried telling her that that's not true because it's difficult to measure. She was one of the two people in our group came up with the idea that we're actually going with, and she was one of them. And without that idea, we wouldn't really get far. So there's a lot of aspects to it. There's a lot of elements to it. And I think it's important to recognize everything that's important. Well, at least what you're capable of recognizing. Don't just dismiss the importance of good ideas. Because if we hadn't had that idea, then the rest of us couldn't do good work. So we need her in order to even do what we have been doing. And that matters. This is a great group, definitely the best group. We look around at the other groups and it's like they're uncoordinated, they don't communicate well, Okay, we have a student in class. She is such a sweet girl. She stammers. And sometimes it's a very rough stammer, so you need to be patient. And you know what? All you gotta do is wait for her. She takes a few seconds more than the rest of us to say what she has to say. But this girl is amazing because she doesn't limit herself due to her stammering. A lot of people I've met with stammers, they keep their mouths shut. They'd rather not ask questions. They'd rather not give their input. Not her. She shares, she talks, she puts her hand up in class, and she just takes a little while longer. And oftentimes it's actually kind of cute that she'll be sitting there really struggling with it. And she knows it. She knows that she's struggling. So what she does is she stops, she takes a deep breath, and then she rephrases the sentence. Rather than trying to say the same thing, she rephrases herself. And then it comes out. And it's so great that she's doing, work. She's conscious of it. And it's not a problem when you talk to her. Well, some people don't agree. Some people think that she needs to hurry the hell up and just say what she has to say. And I hate people like that. And no one is direct about it, but some people, they interrupt her. She's currently in a group with one such person who just interrupts her or even worse, will sometimes finish the sentence for her. Don't do that unless she sends you a signal that it is okay for you to do so. She's done that to a couple of us, at least, multiple times, where she gives you this kind of look. And you know, sometimes she'll make a hand gesture kind of signifying, I give up, I need a little help here. Can you say the word? And I think that's fine too. More than happy to help. But you don't do it without her permission. And also, you don't sit around waiting for permission to do it. You only do it if it comes naturally. And that is, you know, by naturally, I mean you do it when she signals you and you catch that signal. That's about it. So that's not even the worst of the other groups. But looking at the time, the group complaints is for another episode. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I probably won't, so no promises, but we'll see. I'll definitely complain about the groups at some point. In the meantime, it's been fun as always. Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I keep forgetting to tell people to do that because I have no viewers. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.